Are you ready to challenge yourself and think bigger? I'm your host, Marianne Marchese, and together we'll hear the unfiltered, unscripted stories of those who've taken big risks and transformed their bold ideas into reality. Season 1 is brought to you by multi-award-winning law firm Legalite, where bold ideas thrive. Here with me is Carla Groves, co-founder of GUESTPIX, the simple, no-app way to share memories of your event. Carla is reinventing the photo guest book for the modern era. QR codes on tables, instant uploads from any phone, and a living gallery and digital guest book that even the least tech-savvy guest can use. Carla was recognised as one of InDaily's 40 Under 40 and, along with her husband, Warwick, has taken GUESTPIX from a scrappy MVP in Australia to being trusted by over 150,000 events globally. Welcome, Carla, and thank you for flying from Adelaide to join me.
Thank you for having me.
Carla, I think you were meant to be on this podcast because I read a quote on your website that said, when you have empathy and pair it with bold ideas,
That's right.
you can create something truly meaningful. And I just absolutely love that quote.
It's really funny that you brought that up because I was thinking about some of the questions for today, and when I saw that I had written that quote, which was a while back, I thought, wow, this is just, I had goosebumps.
Very
a little
aligned.
bit. Yeah, it was great. So there you go.
So good. QR codes obviously exploded during the pandemic. What prompted the idea to leverage these for shared memories?
It came down to three things. First of all, we had first mover advantage. This product concept didn't really exist in the market, so that was a great advantage from the get-go. The second thing was QR codes were around during COVID. It became ubiquitous. Everyone knew how to use them all of a sudden. And thirdly, it was the timing of going to market. We were coming out of COVID and everyone was starting up events again. And so the combination of all three really propelled us forward into the market, where we really solved a pain point that no one had really solved that thus far. So for us, it was a lot of it was around the timing of coming to market and leveraging the QR code concept rather than having guests download an app for a one-time event.
I want to chat about, why did you even go down that event space? Did you work in events before?
No, we didn't have any event experience prior to this. I mean, I worked in marketing communications before doing this. I became a mother. So I was very much stay at home when we launched, and my husband had a full-time job. He had a big job before we decided to transition and try something different. And it was just, we knew we had a pain point. There was a pain that we needed to solve in the market. And I think with the combination of my skills in marketing and Warwick's skills in technology, we were lucky enough to have the combination
blend.
to be able to produce something that we could take to market. So,
dream duo.
Yeah.
Tech and marketing.
Essentially, yeah.
That's amazing. I remember during COVID, the QR codes on tables, and I just think it's so amazing that you thought to take something that was, in Melbourne in particular, was the bane of so many people's existence, to have to scan this bloody QR code and not be able to talk to a human being to get your food.
Exactly.
But you turned it into something that is just so beneficial for people at events and solved a real problem. Like when you're at an event and everyone's taking these amazing photos, and as the host, you're like, which photos have I missed out on seeing? And then you put it all into this solution. I think it's just an incredible spark of an idea.
Yeah. And I think you talked to some other point there, which is coming out of COVID with all the isolation that we experienced, people were craving that human interaction and realizing just how important making memories with other people are. And so having this as a takeaway after the event was really something that resonated with the public.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned before you were first to market. You didn't have a playbook. You didn't really have any competitors that you could try to emulate. How did you even begin to, I guess, build this and then to test and validate your pricing and positioning?
Great question. I mean, I think in the early days, we had another publishing platform in the wedding space, which was sort of like a a project I ran whilst I was having kids and not wanting to put any pressure on it. But what we found was through that publishing platform, we always decided that we would run it as a free product to sort of see where the real opportunity was. And the product itself was a publishing platform for brides to share their wedding story, tag their vendors, and for vendors to build up a bit of a directory in a free setting. So it was non-commercial, it was passion project. And through that journey, we thought, well, it's a lot of work for a bride to publish her story and to get her version of what her wedding day looked like to be self-published. And so we decided to flip that 180 and decide to focus on the guest experience rather than the brides, which is where the focus has always sort of been. It's always been on the couples themselves. But I think nowadays people are really turning towards that guest experience, what kind of entertainment or form of entertainment can I provide my guests? What kind of memory keepsake can we give them? Can we be a part of? So I think that really helps shape the product and where we're going with that. So in the early days, I forgot your question.
Oh, I think you answered it. It also reflects, I think, what happens in real life at events.
Sure.
Being, like, for example, when the bride's walking down the aisle and everybody's got their phones out and are filming it. And I've been to some weddings in particular where the videographer or the bride and groom have said, please no cameras during the ceremony.
Unplug ceremony. Yes.
Unplug. But this is actually like, no, please plug.
Yeah.
Because that, or like every different angle that you would get from the guest's perspective, I think is just so cool.
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of couples that do use it for an unplugged ceremony, even if they're having an unplugged ceremony. And I completely understand both sides of the equation. Some prefer to have no phones, no distractions, and we fully support that. And others choose to, it's a free for all in many respects. But we kept coming back to the fact that these days everyone is so attached to their devices, and because everyone has such a powerful camera in their pocket and they're used to taking selfies, getting ready shots, like you name it, all these shots that happen beyond, before or after the wedding itself, people are just naturally going to be taking photos and videos and documenting their version of that celebration, no matter what it is. So we really just provided this gallery to be a centralized way for the host to be able to see all the different perspectives. It's not just taking your phone out during the service or during the reception. It's just about capturing all those candid moments that otherwise would have gone unnoticed. Or just sat in someone's phone and might have gotten these incredible photos and then nowhere to really put them. Exactly.
I'm still so old school, and any like big event, I'll put an album on Facebook. I don't even use Facebook, but I literally will just post the photo so I can come back to it. But obviously I need to get GUESTPIX. To keep coming back to it. So walk me through the very first MVP. What did you actually put in front of people?
Absolutely. So we, in the beginning, decided to go very lean. It was just Warwick and I. We basically rehashed the platform that we already had and turned it into something that would have a focus on the guest. So it was simple photo, video uploads in full resolution and a very simple way for the host to be able to download that in full resolution. So it was very transactional. You upload content and the host can download the content in full res. But where we started and where we've come today is so different. It's almost embarrassing what we launched with versus where we've come 3.5 years later. But it's great because it shows the full journey.
Oh, yeah. And you have to
start somewhere.
Yeah. And you can't start where you want to finish because, I mean, that would take a lot of money for starters.
Exactly.
And it might not actually be what the market needs. So that MVP, I think, is so important to validate it in the market, which you did. And even though it was a bit scrappy, it clearly justified that this was needed in the marketplace.
Yeah, it definitely solved its purpose and validated the concept, the idea. And I think for anyone listening who is about to embark on their own journey into business, don't go when you're perfect. Just go when you feel like you have enough weight in it to go, because you'll just be waiting for so long.
Forever.
And this is the best learning process. Once you start, in the next 6 months to 12 months, that journey alone will teach you so much more about the business and the customer than you ever dreamed of if you were just to stick it out yourself and perfect things. So I think definitely go before you're ready. It's scary, but you need to do it.
I totally agree with that, like so wholeheartedly. And I live by this mantra, progress over perfection.
Exactly.
It's never going to be perfect. Nothing
is
is perfect. But it's about that progress and the learnings, as you've said, and you get better and you improve and you learn so much along the way.
Yeah.
But if you don't start, you'll just be completely stuck.
And I think if you have an open mind going forward in that direction and you also taking your customers along that journey with you, they're going to be understanding of the fact that you're a brand new business. You know, if you're communicating with them in a very genuine, authentic way, they're going to be able to help you shape the company, the brand, or whatever it is that you're building to be able to take it to the level that you want to take it to. So I think it's really important part to go before you're ready.
Yeah, for sure.
And have some people's hands that you can hold along the way if you can find them. They might not be your best friends, they might not be your family, but see if you can surround yourself with people who believe in you and believe in what you're doing, and they'll be there no matter what and sort of lift you up, because your community of like-minded people may not be the people you expect them to be, like your best friend. It could be someone completely different. So
yeah, I love that.
Little network's quite important.
And I feel like, or it seems like you did get a lot of learnings from the clients, your clients in the early years as well. So how was that process of improving from the MVP, the scrappy MVP to, as I mentioned earlier, now global? What learnings did you take along the way that you feel were really pivotal to that growth?
Oh, there's so many. There's like we're 3.5 years into the journey now.
Which is phenomenal. Like 3.5 years in, you know, the way, from what I've seen and the way you speak about the business, it's like, feels like a lifetime in business.
It does. Yeah,
it seems like it. But you've obviously, you've rapidly learnt and grown throughout that time.
It's gone it feels like it's, you know, it's like when you have, if anyone listening has kids, like the days feel like years and the years just feel like days. I feel like 100%. In business like this, we're a 24/7 business. There really isn't much of an off switch because we're supporting events globally every day of the week. And so for us, it feels like it does feel like it's been kind of just click of the fingers and we're 3.5 years in, but the days feel like they're long sometimes. It really does take its toll on you a little bit.
Yeah.
But in terms of the journey from the MVP to today, I think we've always had these great ideas for the product and what we can deliver to the host. And we're a product-led company, but we do listen to customer feedback. Of course, they have to be part of the conversation, and they do to some extent help shape the business into where it goes. But I think having that product mindset, because it really does help solidify your belief in the product, and you do understand the customer's needs quite well. So it's been pivotal for us to be able to deliver the product features that we always believed in. And they have changed slightly over time with, you know, developments in AI and, you know, what event guests and hosts are expecting now at events. You know, it's not a new concept any longer. We've commercialised it. We've brought it to market. We've invested in the education of the concept. And now I think hosts are more aware of what the product is and are looking for different ways to be able to amplify it at their own events. So, yeah, it's been a big journey, but big growth journey, but it's exciting.
Yeah, I love that so much. And GUESTPIX is a no app private gallery by choice. Talk to me about why you decided not to make this an app.
Sure. So many people have probably many listeners, if you're in the business space, have attended a business event and you're like, I really just don't want to have to download an app to use at this one event.
Yes.
Or if I'm going to a wedding, it might be the only wedding I go to where they want me to download something. And I think we all have app fatigue. And we just thought that if you had to download an app, it would be a barrier to entry. And that's not the goal. The goal is to make the process as simple as possible for a guest to be able to share the most unique memories of this celebration or event. And so having just a QR code where there was no registration for the guest means that there is a very low barrier to entry whilst maintaining the fully private experience. So we decided very early on it was going to be not an app. Let's distinguish ourselves as something completely different and go down the QR code route. And I think that's definitely lent itself to the success of the product because it's just easy. Anyone can do it. It's very simple.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I've got app fatigue at the moment. I'm trying to, a couple of people are trying to convince me to get onto TikTok and I'm just like, I just fucking cannot. I cannot do another app, especially a social media app.
It's another world. Yeah,
it's a whole another world. My second question around this was at the MVP stage, did you envision that GUESTPIX could become what it is today?
Absolutely.
Oh, good. I love that. I love that confidence.
I think that we were so excited by the concept that we, ideated, and we always believed that it had the potential to go wide and far. And I think that, we always had this belief of go big or go home. It was like, let's solve a real problem in a big way. And I think a few months into us going live with the MVP, we had a really big month of orders and we knew that that was the turning point. Like it's now or never. This is our opportunity to really be entrepreneurs and to do this thing we always dreamed of doing. And to the name of GUESTPIX, we decided to not pigeonhole ourselves to one core event type, for example, weddings, which is where we began. We knew we wanted it to go much further than that. And today we have a very diverse mix of events that use the product, business being one of our fastest growing categories. So for us, we knew it had the potential to go really far. And I'm really happy and proud to say that I feel like today, 150,000 events later, I think that's proof enough for us to see how far we've come and how far it can go.
It can still go.
And it can still go. Yeah.
And did you, when you had this confidence that it would grow into what it is now and is still becoming, did you deliberately have that kind of mix of, short-term launch strategy, get this MVP out, coupled with that long-term thinking? And do you think that that's really important for anyone starting out to have that long-term vision as well?
Absolutely. I think it's important to realize what you're creating, what you're building, and have that long-term goal in mind because it helps form the pathway of where you end up. It might not be there, but it can be somewhere in between, or it might take you down another fork in that road, but at least you have that long-term vision to be able to keep you semi on track to where you envisage yourself going, and don't want to get stuck in a short-term pattern.
And I totally resonate with that. I think it's hard when you're starting out to think of the long term because you're just like almost in survival mode at the start. But if you can have that vision of where you want to go, it just makes some other decisions seem a bit more clearer along the way.
Exactly.
And you know where you're headed, and that does actually, I feel like sometimes it helps with the short-term steps as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Completely agree with that. Yeah.
How did you go from 0 to consistent weekly bookings? What did you think were your most winning strategies?
It's interesting because when we started, there was no one else doing what we were doing. This concept didn't really exist beyond a few apps that were around that did something similar, but nothing really matched this concept. And so we initially spent money marketing to educate the market about this concept and to commercialize the product. And we were very clear early on in our strategy that we needed to religiously A/B test any of the marketing mix that we went with. And it was a combination of different marketing approaches that led us to see, okay, we've now got traction in this particular area. Let's lean in on this. Let's cut that. So it was really just being agile and aware of where we were seeing inroads and where we weren't. Yes.
So you really did achieve some successes from certain strategies and certain feedback, and then you just doubled down.
where we saw inroads.
I love that.
And I think that's really important as a business owner to be aware of where your customers are and where you're seeing traction, and just paying really close attention to that. Even if it's something that you end up outsourcing, you need to pay really close attention to where you are seeing the value, and don't be afraid to try different things, because trying different marketing techniques and different approaches is how we all learn.
Yeah, for sure. And did you do a bit of that, like experimentation with different marketing strategies?
Absolutely. I think being a digital product, we are very present online in the digital space more so than we are anywhere else. So for us, it was playing around with different digital strategies and different marketing approaches to help find the ideal customer. And that's something that we've been very focused on since we started.
As usage grew as well, I'm really interested to hear what were some of the challenges you faced, because we were talking about this earlier, like this is not just the highlight reel, and you've achieved so much success and been recognised, which I'll chat about globally. But what were some of those, real challenges that you faced when you're growing a business so rapidly?
I think one of the areas is so when we started, I'll take you back to the beginning, it was really just Warwick and I, and it was the two of us doing everything. It was customer service, marketing, technology, you name it. It was just the two of us. And as a 24/7 business, there's really no off switch. There is, we would do emails at 2 a.m. in the morning. We would be supporting a customer with a problem. We would be helping a customer find the right package. It would be we were all in on everything in the beginning.
Really all in.
And it's about trying to balance the books as you grow a team of people and finding the right talent to support you at that stage of your business journey, because the team you start with may not be the team that you end up with, depending on where you are in your timeline. So I think the right talent is really important to help, lean in on your vision and support what you're doing. And also, we were very focused on building a scalable product with very low cost. We knew it had the potential to go quite far and to be used in, 100 plus countries. And so for us, the initial stage was all about scalability, and then supporting that with a team that could then take us to where we knew we wanted it to go. So they were some of the initial challenges that we had, the growing pains of, moving from infancy into, those early years.
Yeah. And so quickly, as I said.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, you've taken GUESTPIX from an Australian launch to a genuinely global footprint in only a few years. Recently, Cosmopolitan France flagged GUESTPIX as a 2026 must-have. I mean, that must have been a pretty iconic moment for you.
It was a pretty cool read when I saw that line. That was great.
I used to read Cosmo religiously when I grew up in the 90s.
Yes.
I had like a huge stack of Cosmopolitan.
Yeah, I know, iconic brand.
Yeah, iconic brand, and in France as well, where I think it's quite bigger there.
Yeah.
How did that feel for you? It must have been quite a pinch me moment.
It is. It's kind of, it's like, oh wow, there's our brand and there's our name in that, magazine or digital article, and we've been fortunate enough to be featured in quite a few now, which has been amazing. But it kind of doesn't feel real. It's kind of like, oh, there we are, but what
and
next?
Then there's still work to do.
There's so much to do. Like, they don't see how much work you're drowning in behind the scenes, but it's a privilege to be able to be recognised in those publications globally, and to get some of the recognition about, bringing this concept to life, essentially, which is, the ultimate goal is to help hosts collect these really beautiful moments from their events. And that's always been the focus. It's just stay relentlessly focused on building the best product we can, to give our hosts and our guests the best possible experience so that they can collect these, super special moments.
I love that you have stayed so true to that core purpose. Despite, the growth, despite the growing pains and everything.
Yeah.
Did you have to change anything to make global markets work?
There are a few things that we've had to approach. Language being one of them. I think we now have the platform in 10 languages, so that takes a lot of effort and time. It's not all automatically, done. So we have to make sure that that's all supported. Even with customer service, if you have inquiries in different languages, you have to be able to support the whole journey through. So that's definitely been one area that we've had to, double down on, I suppose. The scalability of the product and supporting it. We're GDPR compliant. We have the Anti-Spam Act. We are very much set up to support business and events in different jurisdictions. Just a couple of those little, not nuances, but little, distractions that you wouldn't even think about if you were just going to.
Because you're like, it's a digital product, it's global, but of course, there's the human side of it too.
Yes.
Yeah. And you touched on it a little bit earlier, being that you still come back to your core purpose, but what's your vision for GUESTPIX?
So our vision is to revolutionise the guest experience. And for us, it's very much been at the core of where we started, and it still is today. Giving people a fantastic experience, all focused around memories, is just, I feel really privileged to be in this position. It's a happy product. We're helping celebrate events. We're helping deliver memories of some of life's most meaningful moments. And, sometimes they're sad moments. People buy our product for funerals and memorials to help celebrate someone's life and to help capture all the moments of that person that they can no longer have, in the physical world. So for us, most of what we're doing is celebrating fantastic, positive moments, but we also do need to support, the sadder events that people are hosting. But the core belief of being able to safely and wholeheartedly collect these memories has always stayed true to our philosophy, if you will, even though we've had a lot of distractions and lots of growth in other areas. So we do business events, we do parties, we do reunions, there are music festivals. There is a very broad demand for our product, but keeping the core of what we're doing has always been the focus for us. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. And final question, what's one piece of advice that you've got for someone who has a bold idea of their own?
I would say if you have a bold idea, you just have to believe in yourself. It is the number one thing when you're going into business, is to have an unwavering belief in yourself, what you're doing, because there is not another person on the planet alive that will believe in your vision as much as you do. And there's no one else that can replicate it the way that you will. Everyone will have their own take on it. Even if you told your idea to 1 million people, everyone would do it slightly differently. So you believing in yourself, surround yourself with people who can help carry you along, because there are going to be so many setbacks, even in the very beginning, before you even turn on or start doing what it is that you're meant to do. So yeah, just believe in yourself.
I love that so much. I cannot tell you how much I love that, because you need that self-belief as well, because as you said, you're going to be rocked, you're going to be challenged, people are going to criticize you, but if you've got that inner belief, it keeps you going. So,
and I think that feedback can definitely help shape your thinking, but you do need to have that unshakable belief. And some days it'll get to you, and some days you just want to throw in the towel and go, it is so not worth it. But then the next day you wake up refreshed and go, I'm not going to let it beat me. I'm going to get back up and I'm going to keep going. And I think a lot of it is about that determination within yourself. So just believe in yourself.
Oh, I love it.
And if not, drop us a DM and we'll tell you that you're meant to do it.
We'll give you a pep talk.
Pep talk.
Very, very cool. I love that. I've really loved this conversation and hearing just how true you are to your original purpose, and it's amazing seeing the success that you've achieved in such a short time. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
If you loved what you heard, make sure you follow the podcast so you never miss an episode. Or even better, leave us a review. And if you have a bold idea of your own, I'd love to hear from you. Check out the show notes to get in touch.